see you online. It's time for virtual story time at the Keller Public Library. I'm Miss Kelly, and I'm going to read the stories today. If you know my special welcome song, I hope you'll sing along. Welcome, welcome everyone. Let's read a book and have some fun. And though we may be far apart, know that you're still in my heart. And we're together here online. We can smile, it's story time. Today's stories are about art. If you have an art story time to go bag, you can open it up and find some things inside that will help you follow along. If you don't have one, it's okay. You'll still have a lot of fun. Well, have you ever painted a picture or drawn something with a pencil or a crayon? Have you ever made something from Play-Doh or clay? Well, then you are an artist, because an artist is anyone who makes art. In our first book today, it's called Peter's Picture. Peter is very proud of the picture he painted at school. Let's see what happens when he tries to show it to his friends and neighbors. Peter's Picture by Valerie Gorbachev. One day at school, Peter painted a picture. It was a picture of a big orange flower. It was the best picture he had ever painted, and Peter was very proud. When school was over, Peter rushed outside with his picture. He knew just what to do with it. On his way home, Peter stopped to see Mrs. Dog. "Look, look, Mrs. Dog," he called. "What have you got there?" said Mrs. Dog. Peter held out his picture. "What a beautiful flower," said Mrs. Dog. "Let me smell it." "Oh no," said Peter, "that's not right. But thanks anyway." So Peter continued on his way. Soon he saw Uncle Bear. "Look, look, Uncle Bear," he called.
"Let me see what you've got," said Uncle Bear. He studied Peter's picture. "Why, this is a lovely, wonderful flower," he said. "Let me give it to my bees. They're sure to want some of the pollen."
"Oh no," said Peter, "that's not right. But thanks anyway." Disappointed, Peter continued on his way. Next door he saw Mr. Boar. "Look, look, Mr. Boar," he called.
"What's that you've got?" asked Mr. Boar. "Why, it's a flower, and so healthy looking too. Here, let me put it in a vase."
"Oh no," said Peter, "that's not right. But thanks anyway." Discouraged, Peter continued on his way. Soon he saw Mr. Mole. "Look, look, Mr. Mole," he called.
"You'll have to come closer," said Mr. Mole. "I don't see very well."
Mr. Mole cleaned his glasses and peered at Peter's picture.
"What a splendid flower," he said. "Why, I've never grown one as beautiful as that. Here, let me water it for you."
"Oh no," said Peter, "that's not right. But thanks anyway." Peter sadly trudged the rest of the way home. "What do you have there, Peter?" asked his mother as he climbed up the front steps. Peter held out
his picture. "That's wonderful," his mother said. She called to Peter's father. "Look what Peter's got." Peter's father studied the picture. "This is great," he said, "and I know just what to do with it." Peter reached for the picture. "You aren't going to smell it, are you? Or give it to the bees? Or put it in a vase? Or water it?" "Of course not," said his father. "What silly ideas." He took the picture and headed down to the basement. It seemed to Peter that he was gone a long time. When Father returned, he carried Peter's picture in a beautiful frame. Carefully, he hung it on the wall. Then they all stood back and admired it. "Oh, yes," said Peter happily, "that's just right." And then he hurried up to his room to paint a new picture. The end.
Were you worried that someone in the story was going to ruin Peter's picture? I was a little bit. Well, in your Storytime to Go bag, you'll find a special piece of paper with a frame on it like Peter used in his book, and you can draw your very own masterpiece on this sheet of paper. But if you don't have a special sheet of paper, it's okay. Any blank sheet of paper is perfect for masterpiece making. One of my favorite things about art is all of the colors. I love colors. Here is an artist's palette, which is a special plate that the artist uses to mix the colors for the painting. I also have one example of each color on the palette. When I sing my color song and point to an object, I want you to say what it is with me. I'm going to sing this song slowly the first time. Here we go. I know the colors for painting fun, green like the grass and yellow like the sun, orange like a pumpkin, white like snow, a red, red rose and a black, black crow, blue like a mailbox, brown like an ape, pink like a pig, and purple like a grape. If you put all the colors in a row, then you have a pretty rainbow. So let's sing it again. This time we'll do it a little faster, and I hope you'll join in with me. I know the colors for painting fun, green like the grass and yellow like the sun, orange like a pumpkin, white like snow, a red, red rose and a black, black crow, blue like a mailbox, brown like an ape, pink like a pig and purple like a grape. Put all the colors in a row, then you have a pretty rainbow. Great job! Well, when we're the artist and we're making a painting, we don't have to choose the color that something normally is. We can use our imaginations to see things in a new way. We can paint something any color we like. And that's just what this next book is about. It's called The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse. And Eric Carle wrote the book and drew the pictures in it, but he was inspired by a real painting he saw of a blue horse by Franz Marc. There's a picture of the painting at the end of this book. Let's take a closer look.
The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse by Eric Carle. I am an artist, and I paint a blue horse and a red crocodile and a yellow cow and a pink rabbit and a green lion and an orange elephant and a purple fox and a black polar bear and a polka-dotted donkey. I am a good artist. And there is the blue horse painting by Franz Marc that inspired Eric Carle's book.
Which one was your favorite? I liked the polka-dotted donkey. Remember when we talked about an artist using a palette to mix colors? Did you know that green comes from mixing two different colors? I want to show you more about mixing colors now. Let's learn more about mixing colors. Let's talk about these colors of paint. Here I have what color of paint? Red paint, yes. And here is yellow. And over here we have blue. These colors are called the primary colors, and we can use these colors to make many, many different colors. So let's take a little bit of yellow over here and let's mix this yellow with just a touch of red. I'm gonna get a new clean knife here to show you what happens when we mix red and yellow together. You guys, can you see what is happening? We're making orange. That's right, when you mix red and yellow together, you get orange. Isn't that amazing? It's art magic. Okay, well, what about if we mixed yellow and a touch of blue? What color do you think that is going to make? What's it looking like? Let's get a little more blue in there. Let's see. Can you tell yet? Oh my goodness, you guys, we're making, do you know? Green, yellow and blue together make green. Pretty neat. All right, so then of course we're gonna try these two together. What color do you think this is going to make if we add blue and a touch of red? What color will we end up with? You have a guess at home? Shout it out when you know it. Red and blue together makes purple. We got almost the whole rainbow over here. Isn't that really neat? How you can make different colors with just red, blue, and yellow. But you can also add colors to make your colors lighter or darker. So what do you think I would add to make pink? What would I need? Well, pink is a lot like red, but it's not as dark as red. So if I want to make pink, I can add white to my red. And then I'm going to get a pretty pink color. Wow. What if I wanted to make my green a little darker? What could I add? Well, I could add a little bit of black to my green, and that will make it dark green, right? Well, you can try mixing colors at home too. If you have paint, you could use paint. If you have a Storytime to go bag, you could use the color play sheet. I have 3 colors here, and then you can try putting them on top of one another. Red and blue, what does that make? Yellow and blue, what does that make? So play with that, or if you don't have either of those things, you can just color crayons on top of one another and see what colors you get by mixing that way. I hope you'll try it. Well, that was fun. I wonder what colors you will mix up at home. This is a sculpture. Do you recognize it? It's one of the first things that you see when you walk into the library's lobby. What do you see? I see a girl reading a book. Well, that makes sense for a library. This sculpture doesn't have much color in it, does it? That's because it's made of bronze. It's very big and it's very heavy. A sculpture is a piece of art that you can walk around because it has 3 dimensions. You can see it from all sides. We can make smaller sculptures with things like clay or Play-Doh. Have you ever done that? Well, I put a little tiny tub of Play-Doh in your Storytime to go bag. And there's also a recipe in there if you'd like to make more dough to play with. And I thought I could take a minute to just show you a few of my favorite things to do with Play-Doh. Take a look! Well, playing with dough is really a lot of fun. There's so many things that you can do. I put a little bit of dough into your Storytime to go bag. And there's also a recipe if you wanted to make more. I like to use this recipe because it does not require you to use the oven, so it's a really easy one. I do want to show you some things I like to do with my dough. One thing that you can do with your dough is practice making letters. There's a couple ways to do it. You of course need to start by rolling your dough into a snake, right? And then I'm going to make a letter. Well, you tell me what letter I'm making. What letter did I just make? I made A for art. Art starts with A. So that's one way that you can practice your letters with dough. But another way that you can practice your letters with dough is by getting some plasticware and writing the letters into the dough. Like that. I made another A by writing with my little plastic knife here. So that's a fun thing to do. You can also use forks to make fun patterns in your dough. That's a good activity. And also you could practice molding your dough into different shapes. What shape did I make my dough into here? I made my dough into a triangle. And you can practice colors with dough too. What color is this dough? Red. What color is this dough? Purple. So there's lots of fun ways to play with Play-Doh, and I hope you'll give a few of them a try at home. Do you ever make a mistake when you're making art? Well, with Play-Doh, it's easy. You just mush it back up into a ball and start over. But if you're drawing or coloring and your crayon slips or the paper tears, sometimes we could get upset or disappointed or frustrated when we make a mistake. But a lot of artists, when they make a mistake, they get really creative. Creative means to think about something in a new way or in an unusual or interesting way and to turn it into something else. And that's what our next book is about. It's called Beautiful Oops, and it's a special pop-up book about how our mistakes can be beautiful. Take a look. Beautiful Oops by Barney Salzberg. Oops! A torn piece of paper is just the beginning. Every spill has lots and lots of possibilities. Bent paper is something to celebrate. A little drip of paint lets your imagination run wild. A scrap of paper can be fun to play with. A smudge and a smear can make magic appear. A stain has potential if you play with its shape. Holes in your paper are worth exploring. When you think you have made a mistake, oops, think of it as an opportunity to make something beautiful. In your Storytime to Go bag, you'll also find an empty paper plate that you could use to turn into an artist's palette that we talked about today for mixing colors. All you need are a pair of scissors and some crayons. Just cut the shape of the palette, this little indentation here for your hand, and then a hole, a circular hole there for your thumb so that you can hold your palette like this to mix your colors. And of course, you may want to get your grown-up to help you with the cutting. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes to cut a hole in the center of something. I like to use the fold method. So I fold something in half and then just cut half of a circle. So that might be easier. Oh, it looks kind of like a heart, but I like it. And then you cut out this part here for your hand. Then you have your shape right. And then of course all you need to do is add details for your palette with your own crayons. Easy, very easy to do. Well, I hope you had fun listening to the art stories today. I of course invite you to share all of your art, even the ones with mistakes, with me by posting it in the comments below or sending it to my email, library@cityofkeller.com. Of course, we have a whole section of art books at the library. If you would like to learn more about art history, if you want to know how to draw, or if you want some ideas for crafts that you could do at home. Keep reading. Bye-bye.